All right, we're back on SportsBIT Betting Insight today, Monday, April 4th. Pauly and Teddy, we're going to talk about Major League Baseball. We'll get to the bad beats and bad bets, some great numbers on Chris Sale. But you want to stick around for the final segment, a big breakdown, recap what happened with the final four games, and a big preview with the championship game tonight, plus the play of the day, all that coming up. We start with bad beats, and welcome to the start of the baseball season, baby. If you had Tampa Bay and Toronto under 7, 3-1 in the eighth, 2 low hits, a 2-run homer. It's okay, everyone calm down. And then 5-1 in the ninth, Stroman gives up a home run, and then with 2 outs, 2 strikes, a base hit by the Rays. Makes it a 5-3 final, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're betting baseball unders, get used to this. They're going to happen. They're going to happen regularly, and they're going to frustrate you to see it on opening day. Certainly frustrating, but we're going to be pointing this out all season, Paul. We're the anti-advanced metrics guys on this show. Chris Archer for Tampa Bay, 12 strikeouts. They love him. K through 9, great ratio. The Rays lose. The game goes over the total. Thanks for the 12 Ks, Chris Archer.
Yep, you were involved in this one. A nutty finish in New York last night.
Oh, my God, it certainly was. So the Pacers do everything they can to blow an 18-point lead. In fact, they blow it all. The game's tied. Aaron Aflalo goes nuts for the Knicks in the fourth quarter. Of course, the Knicks sat everybody last night. They sat Porzingis and Carmelo, 4 of their 5 starters sitting on the bench. The line skyrocketed from -4 to -7. So the Knicks come back from 18 down in the fourth. Aflalo goes nuts. The Pacers, Paul George makes a great drive, hits a bucket. Indiana goes up 4. They're going to cover now. Oh, but Aflalo, after scoring 16 in the fourth, drains a 3. I'm telling you, it was like 1 foot out of bounds, right off the inbounds, an impossible shot. Leads cut to 1. Pacers aren't going to cover. Oh, the refs wave it off. That's like a 15-minute video review. His foot was maybe on the line. They wave it off. So Indiana's like, okay, we can cover now. Now let's just turn it over. Pacers turn it over. Knicks miss another shot. Indiana misses a free throw. Game lands 5. I had a -4 in my pocket. It went up to 7. It was absolutely insane finish over the last 20 seconds between the Knicks and the Pacers.
Yes, that was crazy what happened there. Bad bets, a lot of them. How about this? We talked about it last week. I tell Director of Trading Nick Bogdanovich at William Hill, hey, put this prop up. Will the team go undefeated at home through the playoffs? Then Golden State loses Friday night. Imagine you get in your car in Vegas and you drive down or you make a bet. Bam. Now you still got San Antonio alive. They're 39-0. But again, what Parker said and Pop's on record saying 41-0 at home would mean nothing. So I can't imagine he plays people in their 2 final home games against Golden State and OKC.
Yeah, and of course, South Point it's on the Strip, but it's way South Strip. So it's not like it's necessarily the most convenient place to get to from anywhere in town. You drive down there, I got to get down on this bet. Oh, that night, not so much. What was it, 9-1?
9-1 take back, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So,
yep. You got some great numbers on this Memphis team.
Oh, my God. The Grizzlies have had 28 different players see the court this season. This is an NBA where, teams have 8-man rotations, 10-man rotations. 28 different Memphis players have seen the court. That's the most by a team in NBA history. The previous 27 by the 96-97 Mavericks. And mind you, this isn't a lottery team. This is currently the number 5 seed in the loaded Western Conference, even after losing 6 straight, blown out again yesterday in Orlando on Sunday. Yeah, the Grizzlies are a playoff team. The West is not loaded. The top 4 teams in the West are loaded, not the rest of the conference.
Yep. How about a bad bet in golf? Tiger Woods will not play in the Masters. A bad bet if you had tickets. If you're a golf fan, you're a Tiger fan. And, oh boy, his body's breaking down. I wonder why that's happening. Anyways, his first 46 majors. 14 wins, 22 top 3 finishes. His last 24 majors, 0 wins, 2, count them, 2 top 3 wins. It's over for Tiger. Jack's record is safe. How about some NBA bad bets and also what happened with the Mets and the Royals, Teddy?
First, I got to make fun of you about Tiger. Tiger Woods has been done for 10. I can't even believe we're still talking about Tiger Woods. He was done 10 years ago.
I know that. But some people don't believe that.
Yeah, if you've been booking Tiger over the last 10 years, you've done pretty well for yourself after getting crushed over the
Hey,
first couple of years of the
hey,
21st century.
we got a guest on Wednesday who thinks the guy he's not going to write him off, refuses to write him off. I tell him that you're a buffoon, you're being too stubborn, but there's a lot of people out there who still believe, Teddy.
Well, let's talk about that Royals Mets total. We talked about bad bets last night, Sunday Night Baseball. Oh, the wind's blowing out in KC. You got 3 runs out of the Royals bullpen, and the game still didn't go over the total. Bet up from 7-8. Now, I'm telling you what, you're not going to get 3 runs out of KC's bullpen on most nights. A little bit surprised that the vehemence of that line move, that went from 7 all the way to 8. That's a lot of money that it takes to do that. None of that money cashed. What about the NBA? Nets, Thunder, Blazers. Someone was actually betting Portland yesterday, betting against Golden State off a loss. Wrong side, wrong side, wrong side. The Rays took heavy money yesterday. They're betting against Toronto already. Or maybe they're betting on Chris Archer with the 12 strikeouts. Another wrong side loser.
Yeah, and with the Nets, they've shut down Young and Lopez for the rest of the season. Forget that. They came out and the Pelicans took it to them. Teddy, OKC did it again. They had a lead going to the fourth quarter and lost again.
And the Thunder, I'm telling you, the Thunder are good enough. They are good enough to beat the Spurs or the Warriors. Maybe. But the blown leads are clearly a problem. That's why they're not in contention with the Spurs and the Warriors at the top of the Western Conference. And from a confidence standpoint, that concerns me when the postseason runs around. It really does.
Yep, now let's finish this out with my favorite story. Leicester City, a 7-point lead with 6 matches left in the Premier League. A nice write-up on ESPN.com. William Hill spokesman said it's going to cost the company $14 million. 25 people got a piece of that 5,000 to 1, and now they're trying to buy people out and say, let me sell the ticket. We'll try to save some money here, and some people are taking them up on that offer. But this, again, like Johnny Avello's quoted in the story here in Las Vegas at the Wynn, you don't see these kind of prices in any other sports. Teddy, you thought they made a mistake because people would bet it if it's 1,000. Why'd you make it 5,000? It's good. It could happen now. They're a 1-3 favorite. 7-point lead after the win yesterday with 6 matches to play. $14 million. Going to be a bloodbath for William Hill.
Well, it's good news for the 25 bettors that have that 5,001 ticket. It's bad news for everybody else because guess what? What happens is when one of these guys cashes, just like when the Rams won the Super Bowl at 200 to 1, you just don't see 200 to 1s anymore in the NFL. Same story in the English Premier League. The 5,001 days, they're over. Enjoy this one. You'll never get another one.
Yes. We'll break everything down with the championship game and recap the Final 4 games in the final segment with Deep Dive. Up next, we'll look at a couple Major League Baseball games with Big Game Breakdown. That's coming up on SportsBIT. Betting Insight today. Welcome back on SportsBIT. Betting Insight today. Pauly and Teddy. Big Game Breakdown. Major League Baseball. So you want to bet on Clayton Kershaw. All right, the Dodgers on the road to take on the Padres. And here's Kershaw, Teddy, $1.80 and a total of 5.5.
Yeah, you can't do it. It tells you from opening day there aren't going to be many edges with the great pitchers this year. They're still going to win games because of their talent, but it's not just about winning games in Major League Baseball. It's about the price you have to lay, and I'm not convinced that at the end of this year the wins are going to add up enough at these prices to make Clayton Kershaw a profitable pitcher. But, 5.5 minus 180 with the Dodgers, there's things to like about LA. I got my questions about the pitcher on the other side of the equation, Tyson Ross, because there's a major question about how good this guy can be, Paul. The stat gurus, the quants, love Tyson Ross. The question is, can the guy actually win games?
What do you think? Can he get it done?
I don't know. In 2015, he's top number 8 in strikeouts per 9. 9.7 strikeouts per 9 inning. In 2015, his ground ball rate, 61%. That's number 3 in baseball. So he's keeping the ball down. He's striking hitters out. The advanced metrics markets love those stats. Only 2 pitchers in the top 10 in both categories. Jake Arrieta, he went 22-6 with a .177 ERA, and you made a fortune if you were betting on Arrieta last year. Tyson Ross is the other one. Well, he went 10-12. He had a 3.26 ERA, and he lost money for his supporters. So you wonder if Ross can put it together. His delivery makes him real easy to run against. Allowed 37 steals last year. Only John Lester gave up more, but he gets a break here, of course. The Dodgers don't steal a lot of bases. Number 26 in steals last year, and I don't expect him to run a whole lot more this season.
Give this poor guy some run support, please. I know this team's going to be awful. They could lose 100 games, but last year, in 17 of his 33 starts, the Padres scored 3 runs or less. Mercy. That is brutal.
And it's worth noting that with this 4 o'clock West Coast start time
yes.
for the ESPN cameras for this game, the shadows are going to be all over Petco. Runs will not be easy to come by in this one. And, of course, he's going up against Kershaw. I think the Padres score more than 3 here.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Excellent point about the shadows. White Sox and the A's, great pitching matchup here. White Sox $1.10. Total, what is 6, 6.5, 6?
It's, about 6.5 is the prevailing number.
Okay.
There are a couple of 6s out there with juice to the over.
Okay, bullpen discussion going to be key here in 2016. Not Sonny Red, not Sonny Black, Sonny Gray. 14-7 with a 2.73 ERA. But careful now. The A's only 3-7 in starts by Gray when he got a no decision. Their bullpen was atrocious. They were 28th in bullpen ERA, and they were 27th in losses with 31. So, guys, you need to go out there and find a daily source that keeps track of the win-losses when the starter pitches with the team, but not the win-losses of the pitcher, because you see what's going on with Gray there, and that's something that you need to find. You can elaborate on that too as well, Teddy, but you have some unbelievable numbers on Chris Sale.
Yeah, let's hold off Sale for just a moment. Let's talk about Sonny Gray here, because again, that 14-7, 2.73, you say, wow, this is the guy I want to be on. But when the A's lose all of his no decisions, and the A's go 17-14 in his games with an average lay price of $1.30, guess what? You're not making money betting Sonny Gray. You didn't last year. I'm not convinced you will this year. I do think Oakland's bullpen is going to be a notch or two better than it was a season ago. But, of course, they had a 4.63 ERA last year, as you mentioned, number 28, number 27 in losses. Those aren't positive signs. And, of course, it's opening day. Nobody's throwing complete game shutouts on opening day. The bullpens can and will get involved, which is why we got to talk about Chris Sale. Everybody considers Chris Sale as one of the 3 best pitchers in the American League, right?
Yep.
But look at Chris Sale over the last 3 seasons. He's got 86 starts, an ERA of 2.92 in the American League. Oh, by the way, if you bet on him in every game, you've lost 10.5 units of profit during that span. He has not been a money winner because, of course, you have to bet on the whole mediocre White Sox package, not just a guy that takes the bat out of so many hitters' hands. What does that mean? A dismal defense, a mediocre lineup, and an iffy bullpen. These 2 themes that we brought up on these 2 games, Paul, we're talking about pitchers that have great advanced metric stats that the quants love, but they're not winning. And we have pitchers that have great advanced metric stats that the quants love, but they have no bullpens behind them. These are going to be continuing and prevailing themes over the course of the summer as we break down Major League Baseball.
Up next, the deep dive. 2 blowouts from Saturday, the championship game tonight. What should you do if you got a ticket on Carolina or Villanova to win it all? And the play of the day on SportsBIT. Betting insight today. All right, time for the deep dive on SportsBIT. Play of the day coming up. We'll get to the game in a second. Let's start with what happened Saturday, Teddy. A bad beat for the sports books. Villanova, Oklahoma, total open 150, bet down to 144.5. Whoops, right in the middle.
Yeah, it sure did. And I'll tell you what, there's some middles that we talk about that nobody gets hit on. That not many books get hit on. This is one that the books took a little bit of a beating on because there was a ton of under money right from the get-go. And before tip-off, there was a whole bunch of over money that came in as well. So not a good result for the house. But, of course, if you bet it early, you cashed your under. If you bet it late, you might have cashed your over, but you wouldn't have cashed an under if you got the worst of the number.
Yeah, and then Carolina and Syracuse open 147. Big steam down to 142. So if you bet that late, you won too.
Yeah, on the over.
On the over, right.
Yep. All of that went over. It finished 149, didn't that game? Pretty sure.
I thought it was in the middle. Okay.
No, but the bottom line was that there was a ton of steam on the under and none of it cashed. Including I had a piece of that under myself, and I had a good number. We were live, but not that live. Not live enough to win. But all the shooting. I mean, think about it. There was a ton of talk about the venue in the marketplace. We talked about it here on the SportsBIT, and the number got driven so low that if you bet both unders at tip, you cash with relative ease. But the shooting, Paul, it really wasn't that special in this tournament.
Yeah, if you look at the graphic, it was 33% from three and 63% from the free throw line. The Villanova game was just crazy. I mean, Villanova comes out and they're 71% from the game, and they're 11 of 18 from three, and then Oklahoma couldn't make a shot. And then, of course, Carolina's damage is just killing Syracuse on the boards, and they struggled as well. So, it was strange how both those games worked out.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of biting your fingers, point to results, there weren't any. The point, the excitement was on the totals, not on the sides when it came to ATS. I mean, Syracuse gave North Carolina a game, but the last couple of minutes there, you weren't. You were pretty confident you had a Tar Heel stick it in your pocket. I mean, Nova was the only team to light it up, really, from the floor. And given the full percentages from all four teams, it shows that this venue is still not a venue you want to be betting a whole lot of overs on. But here's a question for you, Paul. All right. Should it be time to offer the proper award for the college season? Buddy Hield, sure as hell wasn't the player of the year this year. He might have been the shooter of the year, but he wasn't the player of the year.
Well, we talked about this last week as well. What happens if Buddy has a bad game or an average performance? Well, you saw what happened. They lose by 44. He was 1 of 8 from 3. He struggled the entire game. But it wasn't just when we brought up the assists and the turnovers as well. I mean, you have some great numbers on what happened going back to the end of January on this guy.
Oh, my God. Again, the mainstream narrative versus reality. And we talked about this on the show last week. Buddy finished. He didn't have more assists than turnovers in any of his last 17 games. The last time he played a game with more assists than turnovers, this is your point guard, January 26th against Texas Tech. Look at the graph. From the Sweet 16 on, 113 floor minutes, 5 assists, 15 turnovers, 2 steals. Those are not national championship numbers. Those are not stay competitive with Villanova numbers. That's why Oklahoma's sitting watching tonight's game on TV while we're about to break down Nova and North Carolina.
Here we go. North Carolina 2.5, 149.5 on TBS. I know they got you. Careful now.
Oh my God! On Saturday, I'm like clicking around. I'm like, where is it? What's going on? I know the game's on.
Yes.
Oh, TBS. Oh, gee, yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with TBS, but Final Four game is supposed to be on the CBSs of the world, not the TBSs of the world. But here it goes. TBS tonight. Don't tune to the wrong channel.
Yeah, so a 44-point win. Again, they shot 71%, 11 of 18 from 3. They played a perfect game, and that pressure defense really gave Oklahoma a ton of issues. Villanova, again, though, they have to do it. Can they play you back-to-back perfect games? They're going to need to do it against Carolina.
Well, look at the defensive pressure. They had 12 steals in the game, and many of those steals turned into easy transition buckets like this one that you can see in the photo right here. Oklahoma, 17 turnovers, only 8 assists in that ballgame. That's what Villanova's been doing throughout the course of this tournament. You say, can they play another perfect game? Think about what they've done their last 3 games. They shoot lights out against Miami. I'm not going to say there was a perfect game because Miami shot the ball real well there, but Nova played a pretty darn good game against the Hurricanes. Then a completely different style, a grinder versus Kansas. And the Wildcats, again, they didn't play perfect. They played pretty perfect, close to perfect on the defensive end. They were great defensively in that ballgame and hit the shots when it mattered most. And then, the game against Oklahoma was pretty close to perfect. I mean, you're not going to see teams play a whole lot better than Villanova did. So it's not just 1, it's 2, it's 3 back-to-back A-plus games for Villanova. They're going to need to make it 4 tonight if they're going to knock off the Tar Heels, because now Villanova has to face the battle of the boards against Kennedy Meeks and that deep UNC front court.
Yeah, these guys are terrific. What Johnson's able to do, Meeks and Hicks, and you mentioned the battle of the boards. You're right; they've been doing it the entire tournament and for most of the season. How do you have 2 blowout wins or at least 2 easy wins, Teddy, when you're 8 of 30 from 3?
Well, you shoot 8 of 30 from 3 and you win back-to-back. And these aren't just NCAA tournament games. This is Elite 8 and Final 4 games by double-figure margins when you're not really hitting from three-point range. And yet you're still winning by doubles. Well, you do it when you're rebounding more than half of your own misses, Pauly. Look at the graph. Carolina offensive rebounds, 28. Notre Dame and Syracuse defensive rebounds, 24. When you're dominating the glass, particularly the offensive glass like that, boy, it goes a long way towards winning by margin.
A friend of ours has North Carolina 10-1. There's a lot of Villanova tickets out there as well. Do we lock in a profit with a spread of 2.5? Figures to be a close game. Should we lock in a profit before tip?
Let's talk about the concept right here, okay? If you have a big long shot ticket, if you have a 40-1 on Villanova or something like that, 30-1, you may want to lock in something. You may want to put something on North Carolina on the money line. Again, you don't want to lay the points with the Tar Heels, and the Tar Heels win by 1, and you just, took a, what's the appropriate way to say this? We say this very inappropriately, so I'm going to stay the political correct. You took a bad middle. You don't want that. So yes, absolutely. If you have a big, long shot ticket, yeah, lock in something so you get, you might want to bet maybe to win twice your initial investment on a ticket like that, and of course you would still hold on to the majority of your ticket on the long shot side here, which is Villanova. If you have North Carolina, look, if you have a 7-1, a 10-1 on the Tar Heels, the only reason that you want to hedge on the Villanova side is because you like the Villanova side. If you start hedging off your 7-1s, you know what? Guess what? You're just turning your profit into dust. If you like the other side, if you like the bet on the other side, yeah, make a decent size hedge. If you do not, hold your ticket and let it ride. And if you so choose, of course, you can always get involved after tip-off, whether it's in-game or live, or whether it's in-game wagering or a halftime bet. If need be, that offers you hedging opportunities even if you don't do anything before the game tips off.
Yeah, you probably want to do a Peter Pan off the stratosphere if you have Villanova and you hedged before the game against Oklahoma. It was a rocking chair game. Jesus. All right, play of the day. Where are we going, Teddy?
Well, what have we just been talking about? We just been talking about Nova and North Carolina. Are we going to give you a national championship game play of the day? You bet we are. My opinion, you cannot bet on a team that just shot 71% from the floor in a game. Can't do it. And you can bet on the team with more future NBA talent. North Carolina, as many as 5 guys on that roster are going to be playing on an NBA roster next year. Nova, you got Josh Hart, who might get taken at the back end of the second round, and that's about it. NBA talent matters. The ability to hit the offensive glass matters. I've been riding this Nova team. I had my big play on Villanova against Oklahoma. Not tonight. Give me North Carolina minus 2.5. That's the SportsBIT play of the day.
Love it. Excellent show. A lot of fun. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on SportsBIT. Betting Insight today.